I, 29F, think my future mother-in-law, 63F, may be trying to sabotage my relationship with my fiance, 31M. Let's get down to business. I've been with my fiance, Adam, for 5 years, and we've been engaged for 7 months. We have a beautiful home together, and we both work really hard at our relationship. The issue isn't with Adam. He does his very best to try to mitigate the situation with his mom, but it's wearing on him, and I worry that one day he'll have to choose. I don't want him to have to do that. That would hurt him too much to choose between me and his family. There are a lot of situations, but I thought I would highlight the worst/most recent. About 3 years ago, 1 month after we purchased our house, his mom really needed windows in her house. Mold was growing a lot, and some no longer had seals. Now, his mom actually has a sizable savings account. Enough that she can spend her money frivolously on luxury goods like Birkin bags and getting her hair done 2 times a week, her nails, buying a Mercedes-Benz every 2 years, and so on. However, she never budgets for anything. So she asked him for $25,000 to replace the windows. He said he would cover them. When he told me, I almost had a heart attack. He said it was a loan and that she would pay him back. I still have law school debt to cover, and we have a larger than we should have mortgage. She made a comment to him about how I would let her freeze to death all winter and he had to help her. We took extra out on the mortgage to cover the windows, top of the line everything. We have still yet to see a dime. I suppose it went into her new GL classes. To quote the Bard, neither a borrower nor a lender be. Adam and I had a vacation planned a year after the windows dilemma happened. We decided that we would go to Europe for 2 weeks as he has never been, and I lived there from the time I was 3 until I came to America for school. We set our hearts on Spain and rented a lovely apartment in Barcelona for the 2 weeks. It was perfect for 2. We planned all of our tours and outings around our interests. Adam loves architecture, so he had a few tours solely planned for that. His mother decided that she had to come and that she'd never been to Europe either, so she invited herself on our trip. Like I did previously, I tried to appeal to his rational side, but I couldn't get through his emotional side, so I just accepted that she would be coming along. Well, coach wasn't good enough for her, and she had to have the tickets upgraded for business, but she didn't want to travel alone, so she pitched in for a seat for Adam to travel with her. I had to remain in coach alone. Then she didn't want to stay at the apartment because it wasn't a vacation to her. No, she had to stay at the W in Barcelona, where she begged Adam to stay with her, but there wasn't any room for me. He tried to reason with her, but she cried and said how she was without her husband and how he passed away before they could ever get to Europe together. He passed away 10 years ago, by the way. So I stayed at the apartment alone while they stayed at the hotel. We were supposed to meet up for breakfast, but she would never get ready on time, so they wouldn't be down until 11 a.m., and we missed most of our outings. I definitely felt like a third wheel and questioned why I even bothered to go on the vacation when I could have stayed at home and not felt so alone. Adam and I began to discuss wedding plans. I would like to keep it relatively low-key, as my family still lives in Europe and cannot attend as my father is very sick, and we are worried he may take a turn for the worse. Traveling is just not worth it for him, and I wouldn't want him to risk his health for something that is a one-day event. I told Adam that I would like just a courtroom ceremony, and his mother and sister, of course, and friends. We would then take everyone out for a fancy dinner. His mother did not, I repeat, not take kindly to this. She said that if her son was going to get married, it would have to be a grand affair for everyone to see. I just kept looking at my side of the seating chart and the pitiful number of guests. I just want to cry. She has been planning it. I told Adam I didn't want this. I expressly told him that I just wanted a small, really small event. No go. She won't even hear him. She just refers to me as her and she, and says how I think that I'm too good for a large wedding, and that my family is too good for America? My family is American. My dad is/was an ambassador. This has been happening a lot recently, and this time it's just one too many times. Lately, she's been asking for more together family time. She lives quite close, but we don't see her all that often as she has friends and events that keep her busy. Not too busy to plan the wedding, though. She has requested that we, Adam and I, have dinner with her 3 times a week. Well, what has been happening is that she's been reserving a spot at the restaurant for 6 p.m., but I don't get home until 6:30 some nights. She has just been encouraging Adam to eat out with her, as I am too thoughtless to come home at a decent hour to eat with her son. How lonely that must be for him. It honestly doesn't bother me that he goes out to eat with her that often, but the things she says behind my back, well, I came home early tonight. I left work and was on the road by 4:30 p.m., home by 5. I surprised Adam as he was just coming in the door when I yanked the door open to greet him happily. He was so excited to see me. I could come to dinner with him and his mom. I told him I just needed to take a shower real quick and get dressed. He called his mom right away and told her that I would be able to make it. He also made a comment stating he'd hoped that there was a reservation for 3 tonight. She said there was, but she thought they'd eat earlier, like 5:30, and was already on her way to our house. She then got there at 5:15 and stated that she couldn't wait another second and had to eat right then. Adam said I would be ready in just another 15 minutes and offered to call the restaurant and request that they move us back. She wouldn't hear it. She just whined about being hungry and how a poor old woman should be expected to wait so his fiancé could fulfill her vain requirements. He came upstairs and asked how long I would be. I said just another 10 minutes. He said his mom was really upset and hungry and asked if I could skip a step for him so we could leave earlier. I told him to go ahead without me and I would meet them there. That was fine. I got there and the table was for 2. Of course. Adam said we could make room, but she said how we would be inconveniencing everyone and I should just go sit at the bar and she'd try to get it fixed. I had 1 drink at the bar and then left. Came home, calmed down a bit, and now I am writing this. Wow, that was long. I think I just needed to get that out there. But I guess I figured everything out though. Sorry to bother you, but unfortunately, my relationship with Adam is over. I realized this as I poured my heart out onto this subreddit. First update. Wow, I really did not expect this kind of attention, considering that I pretty much came to a conclusion. Seems to be the general consensus amongst you that it is the right one, by the way, and I came to it on my own. But the support you have given me, I'm overwhelmed and feel extremely grateful in a way I cannot express. Through personal messages and comments, I cried while reading all of them. Some of you shared words of wisdom. Some of you shared different perspectives. Others shared similar experiences. I feel at a loss for words. Anyway, there isn't a very impactful update, but I figured I would update you on what has happened so far and take this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you so much. After I posted a comment on my own thread and was about 2 glasses deep into a bottle of wine, Adam came home. This was extremely late. He sat down beside me and looked defeated. He just looked at me with hopeless eyes. I asked him if he wanted to talk about it. He said he needed time to process everything that happened tonight. I told him I also needed time. He said to me that whatever I wanted to do, he would accept it. So I called up my maid of honor and asked if she would come pick me up and I could stay at her house for the night. Adam and I kissed and he told me he loved me, and I left. I haven't been back. From my friend Colleen's house, I made a call the next morning to my office asking for a few more days off to go visit my family. So right now, I'm writing to you from my parents' house in Europe. I called Adam and told him my plans, and he asked me if I would let him drive me. I told him I was okay to go myself with Colleen, and I would email him when I got to my family home. When I got settled at home, I emailed Adam, and I sent him the thread that I had made that Tuesday night. A large majority of you wanted him to read it. So, he has read it. All of your comments. He also read the part where I came to the conclusion on my own that I had to end things. We talked briefly over Skype. He told me he felt raw from the thread, but he was glad that I had gotten things out. He asked me if I was sure if I wanted to break things off, or if I still needed time to think. I said I was pretty sure. He asked me for a probability. This is a joke in our relationship for dealing with decisions, and I said I was 90% sure that this was the end for us, and I was using my time away wisely to reconsider everything. For some reason, his eyes brightened, and he just told me that we could talk about it when I got back stateside. I wouldn't break up with him over Skype, and I think we have a lot of legalities to go through regarding the house, and we have to collect any deposits that are available when we cancel the wedding things. Because his mom didn't pay for any of the wedding that she planned. Anyway, I have had a sit down with my father. He's been feeling better, which is a huge relief. He has offered me 2/3 of the cost of the house. So I could either buy it from Adam and pay off most of the mortgage or just walk away and buy myself something else. I didn't expect this, but he said it would give me options should I decide what he thinks I have decided. He says he just wants me to have freedom and that he wouldn't want to see my heart and my bank account broken at the same time. So, that's that. Like I said, nothing really happened between Adam and I. I do have more power though, thanks to my parents, and I've been enjoying my time with my family. My mom and I have been shopping a lot, and my brother, my dad's doctor, and his family have been coming over for dinner quite a bit. My sister is expected to return from China tomorrow, and I am very excited to see her. I wish you all a happy holidays and hopefully New Year. Hopefully my next update will have a conclusion one way or another. Second update. Hi. First, I would like to apologize for how long this update took. I've been completely swamped at work, and things have been happening at home too, so let's get into that. I want to thank everyone again for their continued support and interest in my relationship issues. Sincerely, the advice and shared experiences has made everything a lot clearer. Also, Adam has been following along. Firstly, I specifically want to thank everyone who defended and supported Adam. I don't see him as a bad guy, and I really wouldn't be vindictive. So, passive-aggressive comments while leaving, or making rude comments to him, or anything really mean-hearted, I couldn't do to him. He has supported me emotionally through getting my MBA. He helped me study for my LSATs. He read over my essays to apply to law schools. He did mock interviews with me. He sat through boring orientations with me. He stayed up all night with me when I was sick with nerves before taking the bar. He was my cheerleader when I ran my first triathlon, and he is my champion when I see a house centipede. He is my dream man. And I would never give up my relationship with him if I didn't feel like I was fighting a losing battle. Now, are you guys in for a real shocker? Someone made a comment in the update that he would be outside my parents' house if he really wanted it to work. Well, he took your advice to heart, and he was outside with his bags and a rental on the evening of the 24th. I was taken aback, and I blurted out, "What the F are you doing here?" And he just laughed and said he wanted to talk about everything, and it couldn't wait until I got back. He'd been reading all the comments on the threads, and he felt like they were very eye-opening. He browsed Raised by Narcissists, the subreddit, and he felt very moved by the similarity some of the other posters have with their parents. He said that he spent the last few days thinking about what went down at the restaurant with his mother, and how the look in my eyes when I looked at him after I realized what had happened broke his heart. What I didn't know was that he and his mother got into a row after I went to sit at the bar, fighting about me, and how he doesn't feel free. How his sister used to say she had the same problem, but since she moved far away, it has died down a lot. A lot of people asked me why I put up with this for so long. I tried to remember when this really started happening, when it stopped appearing like regular mother-in-law didn't want to lose her son comments, and began to feel like isolation and vehemence. We used to have an okay relationship when we first met. Sometimes we would go shopping together, and once we got our nails done. It was around when Adam and I purchased the house together. That's when it really started to get bad. The incident with the windows was the first really big issue I remember, when she realized we were serious about each other. So, back to when we were at my parents' house, we had a serious heart-to-heart. I bared everything to him, and he did the same. So there was no confession of incest or physical abuse. It was just that he thinks he was raised by a narcissist who saw her control of her son, her pride and joy slipping away. We came to a decision. Here is what we decided. He went back to the US after New Year's Day, a couple of days before me, and moved his stuff out of our place to a friend's place. He didn't want me to have to be inconvenienced for changes he had to make. We have put our engagement on hold for the time being. He canceled all the plans his mother made. He has been seeing a therapist since the middle of January pretty consistently, 2 to 3 times a week. I have been to 4 sessions with him. His mother has not. We have sort of begun dating each other again. I've also been speaking to his sister and the things their mother put her through. Adam is very lucky. Now, about his mother. He has decided to give her one last chance to go to therapy with him, and he has stated that if she does not, he will go no contact with her. We have a lot to rebuild, but I know we can do it together. Then, in the comments section, one user said, "I still don't understand how the moment of realization for him wasn't the trip to Spain. He planned a romantic trip for the two of you that turned into him hanging out with his mother and leaving you completely alone. I would feel absolutely horrendous leaving my significant other and coach while I'm hanging out in first class with my mother who can't afford to pay her own damn windows. She shoves you out of her plans and then has the balls to shove you out of your own? How did he not see how effed up that was?" We have gone over the trip a lot in therapy. His therapist explained to me that it's akin to someone being stuck in an abusive relationship and always making excuses for the abuser, so often that they believe their own rationalizations. He felt a lot of guilt for his father's death. Adam donated a kidney, and his father's body rejected the donation. He feels like it is his fault that his mother is alone, and I think she preyed on that a lot. It probably should have been my moment of clarity, but it wasn't. We've recently decided together to put it in the past and move forward. Then user 2 commented and said, "You didn't say what everyone is wanting to know. What has been his mother's reaction to all of this? Because it must have been like lighting dynamite." So, you see, right now she is on a month-long cruise. That's why he has to wait. However, Adam did ignore all of her calls while he was in Europe with me. When he got back, she did a lot of guilt tripping, like, "Oh, my poor heart, making me worry like that, running off after her like some whimpering puppy." Just a bunch of stuff to make him feel unmanly and make him feel less than he is. Then, she tried to overdose on painkillers. She called the ambulance before she took any, and they got there before she even managed to get 3 pills down. Really great response time. So, they placed her on a 72-hour watch. Adam only sent flowers. He really did not want to see her. But she decided a cruise and a small vacation might be best for her to get away. Final update. It has been a long time, and we're all a year older. Adam and myself will be composing this thread together. Oh no, I gave away the ending. Yes, we are together. In fact, we're married. So, here goes. Last time we left off, Adam was seeing a shrink, still is, and is trying to unwind some of the damage his mother did. We were living separately for the time being. Adam's mother tried to take her own life, but no, really, she called emergency services before she tried and didn't even have time to swallow more than 2 pills. It's so scary to think that within his mind there was such an abusive past when he has always had such a happy exterior. My husband, man that is fun to say, was basically traumatized by his own mother his entire life, as was his sister. I had alluded before in one of the previous threads about Adam's sister that she had it a lot worse than Adam when they were younger, but when Adam's father died, his mom locked in on him. So, Adam's dad died of kidney failure. However, Adam had donated one of his kidneys to try and save him. His father's body rejected the donation and passed away about 11 years ago, this coming April. His mother took it upon herself during his grieving process to manipulate him into believing he killed his own father, and she was alone now because of him. That if he wanted to repair what he did to her, he'd have to treat her better. Every time he thought that he could get away and create his own life and feel free, she would remind him. The windows. For example, I only heard the part where she blamed me. But I tried to think back to the conversation and really try to hear what Adam had said. It's about 4 years ago now, but he was telling me at that moment that the reason her house was falling down was because she no longer had a man to take care of it, because he killed his dad, according to her. He was trying to tell me, I just wasn't able to understand what it meant. Same with the vacation to Barcelona. She was doing it in front of me now. When he was younger, a lot of these issues had been regarding academic success or athletic success. She didn't have any issue then with girlfriends or anything. She just viewed her children as extensions of herself. It was bad. It just wasn't this level of guilt-inducing sanity. Now, let's get back to the present day. Adam's psychologist had suggested Adam offer his mother a chance to come to therapy to work out issues. He wasn't able to propose this to her at the time because after her attempt at taking her life, she whisked herself away on a cruise to get some much-needed R&R, whatever. But oh my god, you would think he was asking her to murder puppies with the way she went on. So, that's that. No contact. She has tried, but Adam has either ignored all phone calls with unknown numbers, we had our locks changed, and his work has strict instructions to not let her pass the doors. She moved to where Adam's sister lives in July, but I know that his sister, we are close, has been no contact with her since she met her husband. We wrote off the $25,000. We either get it back in probate court, inheritance, or not at all. I'm not really choked up about it. Not enough to do any extra work to get it back right now, especially since Adam is worried she'll use it as leverage to buy back in. We ended up getting married in September. Flew out to be with my parents this week to renew our vows in their house, and we're going to have a honeymoon in Fiji come January. My dad isn't doing so well, but he always seems to fluctuate like that. However, my brother isn't optimistic this time. Anyway, we were wondering, since you all have been so supportive, if you would do us one small favor. Adam and I are going to have a grieving ceremony for his father, so he can process it correctly without manipulation. For any of you who have lost parents, what helped you get through it? Anything would be appreciated. But thank you for everything. We wished we could have invited each and every one of you to our wedding, but that would be creepy. I'm gonna be honest, when we got to the part where Adam just flew across the planet and showed up at her front door, I was like, is this real? That's something you would see out of a movie. But I continued reading, and I don't feel like it's fake, because if this was fake, I feel like the mother-in-law would have been in jail or arrested or had a public meltdown like Chuck McGill in Better Call Saul or something and admitted to all her crimes. So I don't feel like this is fake, but maybe he really did just fly across the planet for his marriage. And I'm gonna be honest, I've driven pretty far for stupid stuff. So to fly across the planet for something I love and I'm dedicating my life towards, well, maybe that is real. But Adam is in therapy, they're married now, mom is no contact, the sister was like, I've been no contact, and it seems like everything's working out for her. I mean, obviously his mom tried to emotionally abuse him and manipulate him into something really bad, blaming his father's death, blaming your son's father's death on him. That is just terrible. But you know what? She's gone. She still has a lot of money, but she's gone, so forget about her. Good for OP and her husband. But anyway, next story. Story number 2. Am I the a-hole because I told my neighbor's kid to F off? I live on the top floor of a house. It's a 1-bedroom, and my boyfriend and I chop and change at where we decide to stay for some weekends. He has a 7-year-old daughter, but she doesn't stay at mine because of the size, and the solid fact that we are not related, unless it's an emergency and she has nowhere to go. She's visited before, and me and my boyfriend have been together for 4 years. Downstairs is an unassuming family. A father, police officer, a mother, profession unknown, and a toddler. They are fairly quiet and utilize the space at the back for the child to run and play, while I typically use and maintain the front yard. I am not a child person, and I have refused their asks to babysit, but do say hello to the adults when I see them. I wave at the child too. The toddler is inquisitive. He tries to open my packages, despite my saying how deeply inappropriate I find it. Just bring it in, put it by the stairs, and tell the kid to leave it alone. And most recently, he has left some tacky toys on the stairs, and there hasn't been cleanup. I have asked the parents to make their child tidy up, because if I fall, my insurance won't be the ones paying. I have a joint condition, and I injure easily, so don't need the extra worry of some idiotic toy cars everywhere. The child also has been constantly asking to go into my apartment to his mother, which she says, "Oh, my sweet baby, we can ask." I've said no. I don't like children. I don't want one in my space, running their sticky hands over my things. I don't believe I owe them an explanation as to why I don't want their child stinking my place up. I don't believe I'm a teaching moment for their kid to learn boundaries and how he isn't entitled to go wherever he wants. I shouted at him. Not only did he try to open yet another package, this one was a care package for my sister as I live abroad, he screamed and cried, "Mine, mine," to which I said, "No, it isn't yours, it's mine. Go away and find your parents." And I tried to ignore this pathetic tantrum and I went inside, only to be followed, with him trying to hit and bite. I turned around and said, "F off, you annoying little brat. Cry to someone who gives an F." I then tripped on one of his stupid little toy cars and dislocated my knee. The toy was destroyed as it became dented and scratched because I stepped on it. Of course, the parents were horrified, but I have, thus far, refused to engage. I also had one of my packages rerouted to my boyfriend's, but he lives on Long Island and I live in Queens, so it's inconvenient. They called the landlord, who reminded them that the opening of mail not addressed to them is a felony. I am sick and tired of parents who think their bratty children are entitled to go wherever they want, do whatever they want, and touch whatever they want with their pinworm-infested hands. So, I just want to know for my own sanity, am I the a-hole? Edit. I wish I hadn't shouted at this child, but my limit of asking the stairs to be clear, my packages to be left alone, and my right to space be respected were constantly violated. I don't want to be bitten and hit by a toddler because he can't get his own way. I also said I wasn't a kid person, not that I hated them. Not particularly enjoying the company of toddlers doesn't mean my boyfriend picked an absolute monster. A 7-year-old isn't a toddler. She has some respect for my space and is not a brat. Edit number 2. I may have asked for judgment on the situation, but I didn't ask for judgment on my relationship. Jiggle your boobs and flap those concerned lips elsewhere. The only person able to pass judgment on that is my boyfriend. Womp womp, ladies. Then, in the comments section, the general consensus was that OP was justified for being angry, but not justified for yelling at the kid. Then, in the comments section, OP's boyfriend showed up and elaborated on OP's relationship with his child and said, "I am very aware of the situation. Thank you. I've been caring for my girlfriend since her damn knee dislocated. Or are you expecting physical perfection from her as well as emotional? So how could I not be aware of how she acted? I am also aware that this child attempted to bite and hit my girlfriend. As a parent myself, I have often warned my daughter that if she slaps me or my girlfriend, she has to accept that we are bigger than her and may hurt her if we act instinctively as humans do when confronted with an attack or pain. No adult is perfect. I have screamed at my daughter on more than one occasion during misbehavior. I also accept my girlfriend is not perfect. She doesn't have to love kids. That's fine. She is, however, great with my daughter. She has never really been childish with her and spoke to her more like an adult, an equal, which I actually admire. She also keeps drawings that my daughter has made. She loves drawing the flowers in the front yard that my girlfriend mentioned that she maintains. She doesn't have to keep those drawings, but my girlfriend does. So, keep your nose out and my daughter and I's name out of your mouth. How she acted with the child downstairs, however regrettable, is not how she acts with my child. As a parent, even I would shout at a child acting aggressively. We are not required to like or love children that have no connection to us. From my standpoint, this kid needs a spanking and a good shouting at. So do the parents too, quite frankly. Then the girlfriend, original OP, was accused for escalating towards the child and said, "You were not there. Please don't twist things when you are not present." I escalated nothing. I took my parcel back and went inside. He followed and hit me in an attempt to bite me. I turned and shouted and then dislocated my knee on his toy. The escalator was the child, no one else. I wish I hadn't shouted, but I was pushed to my limit. And finally, one user asked OP why she thinks the child was left unsupervised. I don't know why the child was outside unsupervised. I don't really care, and it's not my problem. While I admit shouting was wrong, children also need to learn the consequences of horrible behavior, like hitting and attempting to bite. They may get hit back or shouted at. The parents were asked multiple times to tell their child to leave my things alone and to keep the stairs clear. I lost it because their child was aggressive, and this situation was weeks in the making. Update. I have since returned home from being cared for by my boyfriend, and the issue has somewhat, though not quite, resolved. When I got back, the first thing I saw was the child, 4M, playing on the steps up to my apartment with his toys. Furiously, my boyfriend knocks on the door and tells the mother to stop this nonsense, and if we see any toys on the steps again, they will be thrown out. The child is removed, kicking and screaming. When we got back, we brought with us a lockbox for my parcels. We had a conversation with our landlord, who issued the family with a warning, as a point of egress needs to be kept clear and that allowing the child to fully open my package is indeed illegal, though hardly able to be punished. Accidents do happen, I am aware, but they don't happen more than 3 times. I also passed on my insurance bill to them because I refused to pay for being in an accident that was wholly preventable by them. I am also in physical therapy for my knee and back, and I am not paying for that either. The door leading to the stairs of my upstairs apartment has been fixed, so the child cannot play there. This has upset the mother in particular, who fully said, "I want to teach my child that everyone loves and accepts him." I replied, "I don't love your child. He doesn't mean anything to me beyond the fact that he is the child of my neighbors. You don't love me, do you? You didn't even listen when I expressed concern about toys on the steps or your child constantly throwing tantrums when I take my packages from him." But yeah, I honestly couldn't believe the entitlement. The father was not happy with our responses to each other, but didn't speak up. We left it at that, and later, like a few days, I am sitting outside with my boyfriend and his child, 7F, as they played with a frisbee. The downstairs child comes over trying to play. My boyfriend's child says no. Fair, she just wanted to play with her dad alone, and he is told to go back inside, because we are not responsible for some random 4-year-old. The kid pitches a fit, so my boyfriend goes to knock on the door to ask the mother to come get him. She insists that we play with him. We insist we are not obligated to do so. The child has already hit my boyfriend's kid, and she angrily shoved him over, gave him a slap back, and screamed to go away and that he ruined their game. Immediately, my boyfriend goes over to his child and tells the other one to go to his mom. We point-blank refused to entertain this child and told them to leave us alone. If my boyfriend's child was okay with the downstairs kid, neither of us would have intervened. But she didn't though. She shouldn't be forced to play with an aggressive and, quite frankly, vile little boy. I'm glad she slapped him actually. Since then, the child has left us alone. Now, I was wondering before this if I was the a-hole, but quite honestly, I know for a fact no one would blame my boyfriend's child for lack of emotional control. So, why blame a child-free adult who has reached a limit? The situation, as explained in my original post, was weeks in the making. I have also read a few other posts about parents screaming at their children, and it's all, "You're a beautiful mama bear, don't beat yourself up, we parents are not perfect." So then, why is a child-free adult suddenly a monster for not offering some random brat endless patience? Your baby isn't entitled to anything from others, let alone free care, endless patience when even you can't offer that, attention, or love. That is on you. But thank you to those who actually could read between the lines and did not think I was a psycho for not enjoying childish behavior or losing it with him. I am going to go watch my boyfriend's child draw some flowers in the front yard now. Now, here are some more relevant comments. User 1 said, "Not the a-hole. Teaching your child that everyone loves them might have some very unpleasant results. The kid might go with the nice man with candy and go see his puppy. Mama is a piece of work. I'm not sure about being able to get your bill paid, though." Then user 2 commented and said, "It's wild to me that they're letting a 4-year-old be outside their flat unsupervised to the point that you have to knock on their door to alert them of his behavior." And finally, user 3 commented and said, "I hope you get your medical bill covered. They need to realize that you owe them nothing and that their failure to act appropriately in the first place has resulted in the ruin of all potential for a friendly neighbor relationship." Story number 3. Am I the a-hole for telling a friend that my husband can't be cheating on me and that she is just projecting? For context, I, 31F, have been with my husband J, 34M, for 10 years. We met through mutual friends, began dating shortly after, and became engaged after being together for about 2 years. We aren't legally married yet, as we both agreed we wanted an all-out wedding and to travel for our honeymoon, but that is expensive, and we wanted to prioritize spending our money on things like our house, our vehicles, medical bills, and so on. We bought each other matching rings that we wear as if we are married, refer to each other as husband and wife, and present as married socially. We just actually haven't had the wedding yet. Our families understand this, and since we are both children of divorce, our parents were fine with us not wanting to get married, since their opinion of marriage was somewhat skewed, to put it politely. Most of our friends also don't comment on our lack of being officially married, as they either don't care, agree with our logic that there are more important things to spend money on, or the sort of people who think the point of a legal marriage isn't as necessary as it has been in the past. Then there's Trisha, 28F. I met Trisha through an old job, and we got along really well. We enjoy the same music, food, and had similar opinions on things like movies, books, and clothes. Trisha is a lovely person, and I do genuinely enjoy her friendship, but she occasionally goes through these odd phases where she analyzes the behavior of the men in our social circle. She will present her theories to us ladies based on things like social media posts, odd behaviors that she says she's noticed during group barbecues or beach trips, things like that. While I have no problem calling out potentially crappy behavior in a friend, the things that she deems suspicious don't really hold water in my opinion. For example, she's never quite let go of considering a male friend gay, and her evidence is that he's a bit of a perpetual bachelor. According to him, his bachelor status is because he's holding out for a girl who doesn't mind his transient lifestyle as a man who has to travel a lot for work, and would want to join him rather than wait around at home. But according to Trisha, he must be having gay dalliances across the country and refuses to tell us, even though many in our friend group are gay, out of the closet, and even bring their partners to social events. Then there's my sweet Jay. Jay has never been a very physically affectionate person, and he is likely autistic, but isn't interested in having a formal diagnosis. He took a test to screen for autism in undiagnosed adults about 4 years ago when he was seeking treatment for chronic migraines, and the results suggested strongly that he may be autistic. Once he got those results back, he sort of got over the idea of wanting answers for some of his mental health questions, preferring to just go to therapy and work on finding a good treatment for his migraines. According to him, the test was good enough to solve the mystery and provided some closure for him. I didn't press the issue, as the idea of getting on his case about a diagnosis he didn't feel he needed seemed unnecessarily harsh to me. On top of that, Jay loves fishing. When you put these two facts together, hopefully a picture gets painted for you, but I'll clarify anyway. He knows about all the different types of aquatic environments in our area that you can legally fish, when all the different spawning seasons are, what every species eats, how they hunt, and how he can tell you what sort of fish is on the hook based on how it feels when he's pulling them in. He can look at a body of water and instantly tell you if fishing will be good that day, and he has never been wrong. It's like living with a fish-based psychic. Since I am an avid lover of seafood, his fishing and pursuit of fish-centric knowledge has only been a boon to me. I can express interest in wanting a fish dinner on Monday morning, and that night, he will bring home and cook up enough fish for us to eat like royalty. He's even excited to catch fish to make it into fertilizer for my new rose bushes, since he feels confident he will be able to pull up the perfect food for my new roses. Anyway, the suspicious activity, according to Trisha, is that he often goes on spur-of-the-moment fishing trips by himself and can sometimes be gone for hours. He will randomly stand up, say something like, "All right, fishing time," and give me a kiss before he hits the road. While I would ordinarily agree that something like that could be suspicious, I know that factually Jay isn't cheating, as he always sends me countless pictures and videos while he's on these trips, as well as calling me on the phone when he's particularly excited about a good catch and how he's trying to get unique squeaky fish, a cool bird he saw, things like that. Even if he's gone for 10 hours, my phone will be blowing up for all 10 of those hours, with pictures of his sunshine smile next to a fish, or videos of him cheering as he shows me what he's got on the stringer. I adore these pictures, videos, and phone calls, since they make my heart so full with how much joy he feels and how at peace he is on the water. I would join him more often, but I usually stay home, since it wouldn't be fair to our dogs if both of us left for undefined amounts of time on a whim. Instead, I find my peace in watching through his eyes, and when he comes home, I'm always happy to get the play-by-play of how the trip went while Jay prepares the fish for us to eat. We even have a game now where he quizzes me on what types of fish he caught, and if I win, I get a big hug. But none of this is good enough for Trisha. For years now, she has had her suspicions about Jay, but I've always brushed them off as I'm secure in my relationship and trust Jay implicitly. When Trisha first brought her theory to me, I brought it up to Jay, who was genuinely hurt and asked if I shared in her suspicions and wanted him to go fishing less. I told him no, but that I felt he deserved to know what Trisha was telling people about him. He understood and was willing to let sleeping dogs lie. Over the years, as Jay and I kept on keeping on, unmarried and in fishy bliss, Trisha became more and more adamant that not only was Jay cheating, but that the reason we weren't married is that he convinced me to wait for an expensive wedding, and he would rather continue on cheating during fake fishing trips. And her proof was his random trips, the fact that he doesn't physically touch me a lot when we're in public, and how he never lets me go with him. Countless times I have shown her the giant folder of fishing pictures and videos on my phone, call logs showing how often we're in communication, and told her that I didn't need to have him grabbing on me or dangling off me in public to feel secure with him. I've brought up our responsibilities as dog owners to not leave them alone for hours on a whim without the ability to relieve themselves outside. I've even told her multiple times over the years that she's more than welcome to ask Jay if she could tag along on a trip and see for herself how committed he is to fishing, but she always refuses. Again, since Jay has been fine with ignoring the drama, I let it slide, up until about a week ago. Jay was talking about going on a day-long fishing trip with two of our friends, Vince and Maria, who are married, as they had expressed interest in going, and saw the trip as a sort of blend between a staycation and a chartered boat trip. Trisha spoke to me privately, saying that I must be happy that Maria is going, since she will be able to ensure that not only Jay can't cheat on me, but that Vince can't cover for him if he tries to. I had finally had enough, as now she was dragging poor Vince into this and was slandering his character, when all Vince had done is agree to a day trip with an old friend. I told Trisha that she needs to either bring her suspicions directly to Jay and hash it out with him, or let it go, because as far as I'm concerned, she's projecting her issues onto Jay, since Trisha can't keep a guy longer than 3 months. While that assessment isn't entirely true, I wanted to hurt her feelings and cut her down to size, since that's my sweet Jay that she is dragging through the mud. Trisha not only took it personally, but said that I was just naive and was afraid to be single. I told her that she was projecting again, since she is a serial dater who scares off men with her wannabe Sherlock Holmes nonsense. And that she cannot just fathom a man with a real hobby, because she only goes after half-baked, fake gym bros who are more interested in their own chests than hers, and wannabe finance bros who blow their entire paychecks on crypto. She stopped talking to me after that, and hasn't reached out to me since. Granted, I haven't reached out to her either, but I'm mad at her because she was so rude. Our friend group doesn't really give this entire situation much weight, saying stuff like, "That's just how she is," or "What did you expect?" or "We know Jay isn't cheating, but he's an exception to the rule, and maybe Trisha doesn't see that." While I was willing to stand my ground at first and not budge on the issue, now I'm wondering if maybe I was too harsh and should apologize for being petty just because I wanted to knock her down a peg and get her to give up on her theories. So, am I the a-hole, and should I apologize, or do I keep all 10 toes in the ground and let her twist? Now, here are some relevant comments. User 1 said, "First of all, Jay sounds wonderful. Congrats on snagging him. I smiled reading when you were talking about him. Very wholesome. But Trisha, she sucks, man. Trisha isn't helping anyone. She's actively hurting people's marriages, relationships, and friendships. I would bail on her ASAP. I don't know what you see in a person who has put that much time into belittling your wonderful husband. I was also a little irked by people in your group chat saying that Jay is the exception. How? You said Trisha is always doing this, and she's wrong as hell. Why are you friends with Trisha if she's fabricating rumors about your friends being gay and your husband cheating on you? Like, to the point that you told Jay, this is what she's saying about you to people. Like, you know she didn't just say it to you, but everyone, and you're still letting this woman hang around? Gross. I have to say, hearing it framed this way is a shock I think I needed. I wanted to get defensive at first, but you have a really solid point. Someone else here asked if maybe Trisha is interested in Jay, and I'm going to dig into that. But now, I want to dig into this as well. Thank you for your input. It's put a lot into perspective. Then user 2 commented and said, "Also, just food for thought, are you sure she's not spreading rumors about you behind your back? Anyone willing to talk to you behind someone else's back is willing to talk about you behind your back." I'm sure she is at this point. Reading the comments here have changed how I view the entire friend group. I'll be speaking with some mutual friends about what they've heard. It's receipt time. Then user 3 said, "My ex posts pictures of herself out on the ice all weekend fishing. I love watching her videos and pictures of giant fish she caught in the middle of the night. I still love my ex, but there is no way I am spending a weekend in a tent on a frozen lake. If he catches a mermaid, then you might be in trouble." I'm going to be honest. If he caught a mermaid, he'd either try to go on National Geography or some kind of fishing show. Also, he can contribute to ichthyology or marine biology, or try to tag it somehow to study it. He's a true believer in the betterment of aquatic environments and getting the world excited about fishing. Then user 4 commented and said, "Not the a-hole. It's my opinion she is stirring stuff up not because she's projecting, but because she is sad and lonely and can't abide the sight of others' happiness. She wants a friend in misery and needs other people to validate her loneliness." Thank you for your words. I'm starting to think that she either wants someone else to commiserate with her in a way that we don't do now, or something else more sinister. Then user 5 commented and said, "She sounds like a troublemaker who likes to stir the pot. Not sure why you are still friends with her. She clearly likes causing drama." Thank you for your input. Seeing many people say similar things is waking me up to some uncomfortable truths. And finally, user 6 commented and said, "Everyone sucks here. You should apologize for the below-the-belt comment. I'm not saying that you are wrong, but you didn't need to go that far. You can be in the right and still be an a-hole." Yeah, I'm willing to admit I went too far, and there's no excuse for that. Thanks for being honest with me. Then in the comments section, the consensus was that OP was not the a-hole. Update. Next day. I wanted to give a small update now before I brought the axe down tonight. This will be shorter, as Jay and I will be going fishing together this afternoon after lunch. I showed Jay the original thread, and we had a heart-to-heart that lasted until the wee hours of the morning. Firstly, he wanted me to express his appreciation for you all, as well as shout out his fellow fishing enthusiasts. He encourages you all to get out there and try your best, regardless of your success, and to instead share with him the joy it brings, even if we can't all go fishing together. After going through all of your beautiful words and generous support, we shared our thoughts on the matter, not only as a couple, but as two people with different levels of attachment to the individuals in our group. We both agree that we had been holding on to these friendships more out of a sense of nostalgia and a desire to be kind, rather than actually examining what these friends brought to the table and whether or not they enriched our lives. We had been distracted by a desire for community and old bonds, sacrificing our comfort and respect for not only ourselves, but our choice to be together and have a dynamic that some may not view as normal or valid in some capacities. While Jay and I have different views on what certain friends mean to us, we both agree that enough is enough, and it's time to not only establish boundaries, but to not give an inch to those who have caused us to come to this. Trisha especially. That said, Jay is a good man, a strong, whip-smart, generous man, and reading the feedback you all provided made me realize something. I am effing angry. I allowed a venomous waste of air around my sweet Jay. My Jay, she slandered him, belittled me, devalued what we have, and I allowed it, like some sort of coward. It's going to end now, and I'm ending it my way. I will not be allowing Trisha to slink away from this or have room to twist words to make me look like anything other than a woman with righteous fury regarding the woman she vowed to honor and protect. I'm sorry to report, but I will not be taking the high road, nor will I be handling this with tact and decorum. I'm blowing this woman's social life sky effing high, along with anybody who sides with her. Scorched earth, no prisoners, blood for the blood god. Update number 2. I'm going to keep this as brief as possible while still covering it, as there is a lot to cover involving about 15 people, and it's still all hitting the fan. Also, beware of potential SA and drug abuse in the story. So, during the fishing trip yesterday, I blocked Trisha on everything, and reached out to people to say that Jay and I would be distancing ourselves from Trisha, as well as why we were doing so, and shared what theory Trisha may have had about them if there was one, along with any screenshots or evidence I had of Trisha talking about them. I also asked a few friends who might know if Trisha might be interested in Jay, as some people pointed out that might have been a motivation for her to get between us. So here is what has been dug up so far. Matt, the friend Trisha alleged was gay, confirmed again that he isn't gay. He shared a story about how he, his roommate, and Trisha had a get-together at one point while they were drunk and smoked some weed. During the night, Trisha got handsy and tried getting together with Matt's roommate, who declined. When they sobered up the following morning, Trisha said that it should be fine because men like that sort of thing. After that, Matt and his roommate weren't comfortable with her and effectively barred her from going to their place. Matt suspects that this is the origin of the gay rumor, and he's chosen to step away from the social group to reevaluate some things. I didn't want to press him, so I left it there. Vince and Maria have gone dark. Maria believed Trisha was the victim in all of this, and Vince was vague in his responses and seemed to be taking a more hands-off approach. But they stopped responding when another friend sent a screenshot of Trisha alluding to them being swingers because they have a decorative pineapple on their kitchen counter. Neither of them have anyone blocked, but no one can get a response out of them either. One friend got into an argument with his girlfriend after said girlfriend went through his phone because of the drama and found either text messages or pictures, I don't know which. That, according to her, proved that he's been sleeping with Trisha on and off. I heard this from his brother, who reached out after the girlfriend left a voicemail saying she's kicking the friend out. And the brother wanted to know what was going on. I'm not sure exactly what's happening there, as that friend has also gone dark, and none of us know the girlfriend very well or have her phone number. Next, one friend came clean about her struggles with prescription pain meds after her mother lost her battle with cancer, because Trisha had been trying to blackmail her into getting dirt on Matt, Jay, and Vince, and was using the drug abuse as leverage. Admittedly, a lot of my attention got diverted after this came to light because that's a much bigger problem than my beef with Trisha. We are still working on creating a good way for people to be a support system for her moving forward, and that will be what we as a group will focus on from here on out. An old friend of Jay's dropped a nuke revealing that Trisha tried blowing him in the bathroom during a Friendsgiving dinner we had last year, only to turn around and try to blow a different guy in the bathroom after Chris turned her down. Jay, some other friends, and I created a new Discord server for all the friends coming out of this drama against Trisha, and so far it's just been a lot of comparing dates, texts, and Discord DMs. But it looks like Trisha has been trying to either sleep with or break up every guy in the friend group, as well as either get rid of or get leverage on every girlfriend in the group. Either way, we have bigger fish to fry now. It's time to put all this behind us and help our friend who really needs it. Thank you all for your kind words and helpful advice, even the harsh stuff. Wow, Trisha was getting stuff done. I mean, she was accomplishing her goals. Her goals being to be a terrible person, but I mean, whatever you are, be a good one, I guess. Obviously, I don't approve of what she did, but oh my goodness, 15 people were seemingly affected by all of this. I am glad that OP kind of had her come to Jesus moment and was like, hey, I'm being stepped on, and she's like bad-mouthing and falsely accusing the man I deeply love. This is unacceptable. Time to defend my man. And then everything blew up. And then also Trisha was blackmailing a woman. What? Stop that. Trisha, get help. But anyway, she's gone now, misery loves company, and she's a terrible person. Next story. Story number 4. I-30F cheated on my husband, 27M, and now I suspect he's seeing another woman. New update. I know I did something awful and disgusting, and when I couldn't take the guilt anymore, I cut off my affair partner and confessed everything to my husband. He got more upset and depressed than angry, and I begged for him not to divorce me. I proposed counseling, therapy, even allowing him to sleep with other women, but he wasn't interested. He said he wanted to try and work us out, and I jumped into being the best wife a man can ask for. I cook his favorite dishes, leave him loving notes, and bought a new lingerie to entice him. His reactions are lukewarm at best. He smiles and thanks me, but not once has he said that he loves me since I have confessed. He barely initiates anything, and I basically have to push myself on him, not that he complains. Sometimes we talk about this, but I think I still lost the man I love. His behavior with me feels very artificial, and nothing changes his facade. I can be playful, I can be sad, I can get angry, and I can get seductive. His reaction is always this stupid smile and polite words. He was so emotional and sincere before all of this happened. I want him to let out his true emotions with me, even if he hates me. I still love him so much. What can I do to fix this? Now here are some relevant comments. User 1 said, "Is this a troll post? If not, please share some details. How long have you been together? And how long was the affair? Who is the other man? A coworker?" We have been married for 5 years. My affair lasted a couple of months, and it was with a client. Then user 1 commented again and said, "Okay, thank you. Also, what do you mean by cutting off the affair? Is this person still a client? Do you have to do business with them? Also, are you seeing a therapist? Do you know why you strayed?" I ended my relationship with the client and passed his contract to a coworker. No contact ever since. Also, I have been doing individual therapy. I don't know why I did all this. My body felt like it was on autopilot. Update. He knows I cheated. We didn't separate, and I begged him to not divorce and let me fix this. He agreed, but his behavior since my confession has basically been one of indifference. Like I wrote on my last post, I do my best to be the best wife he could ask for. I cook his favorite foods, get him gifts, screw his brains out every night. He just smiles and thanks me. He acts kind and never yells at me, but I feel his icy indifference under that mask of courtesy. 2 weeks ago, he started coming home late. Very late, and when he does, he just goes to bed. I asked him what's going on, and he told me in the kindest way possible that it's not my business. I call him when he stays out, and he picked up only once. I heard a woman laughing in the background. I am starting to think he is cheating back on me. It effing hurts. If he told me, at least I would have done my best to stomach it. I deserve this after all. But he won't tell me. He just shuts me out. A common friend told me that she spotted him in a car with a woman that she didn't recognize, and this felt like a stab in the heart. She said she couldn't describe her exactly because she wore big sunglasses, but she recognized my husband because of his particular taste in neckties. They were talking, but my friend said that from their position, it looked like they were holding hands or one of them was touching the other's lap. I don't know what to do. If he is having an affair, I deserve it, but I need to know. The uncertainty is killing me. Should I confront him? Should I try to find out more? Update. He left me. I did like you guys said and begged him to talk to me. He didn't want to, but I cried and yelled so much I puked all over. He got softer with me. He helped me clean up and we talked. I asked him if he was cheating on me, and he said he was talking with someone, but didn't do anything with her. I asked if she was the woman my friend saw him with. He thought on it a little, but said no. It was another woman who he met a month ago in his office. I asked him how could he, and he said I gave him permission, and he didn't do anything besides unloading his problems and our situation with her. But he played it like he was having a full affair, so I could feel what he felt, especially because according to him, I neglected him and made it obvious I was cheating on him. He said he was suffering, and I was almost rubbing it in his face. I told him I wasn't doing it on purpose, and he said this was even worse because I didn't care at all. He said that everything I did after confessing meant nothing and just made him think I am selfish, self-centered, and lack any sort of self-respect. I asked him if we could work on myself and our marriage, but he said we can have counseling to sort ourselves out, but the marriage is over. He said he wishes nothing ill on me and decided to cut his charade because he no longer could bear to see the woman he once loved suffer like that. But he said I am no longer that woman. I started sobbing again and he held me, but he kept saying no when I asked him if we could work this out. I asked him what he was going to do, and he said he's moving out. He already found a new place. I asked him if he was going to live with that woman, and he said maybe, but she was close enough. I asked him how could he pick a total stranger he met a month ago over his wife of 5 years. He said his wife of 5 years no longer exists. He said he has to pick between two strangers, and that woman made a much better impression on him. He said he won't tell our families that our marriage ended because I cheated, but because we grew apart, and that he will leave the house to me as long as I make the divorce smooth. But if I try to take him to the cleaners, drag it out, or cause any problem, he will tell everyone what I did and destroy me and my reputation. This happened yesterday, and he has already packed up almost everything. I can't stop crying, and I can't believe this is happening. This is horrible and unfair. Then in the comments section, OP made one comment and said, "You guys are right, saying that I suck. But he has faults too. He never really wanted to fix this. He used me for months and then discarded me. And yet, I want him back and forgive and forget all the hurt that we've done to each other. As for his girl, I don't think she will be good for him. I got served divorce papers today. This feels like a nightmare. I keep telling myself it's not real and I'm going to wake up. My husband moved out 2 weeks ago, ostensibly to live with another woman, but I have kept my eyes and ears on him. Had some friends tell me his going-ons, and seemingly there was no other woman at all. I hoped he was just collecting his thoughts and that he would come back to me. But today, he did it. He had me served. I don't want to believe he is done with us. I love him so much and I miss him every day." New update. I, 30F, cheated on my husband, 27M, and now I suspect he's seeing another woman. And I am realizing I did everything wrong. My husband and I are getting divorced because of my infidelity, and I realized I could have tried to salvage our marriage if I did differently after I confessed. Instead, my behavior just pushed him away further and resulted in us getting divorced. We have talked a couple of times since he moved out and I got served. He says if I keep this level of civility, we can keep talking and not have to go exclusively through lawyers for communication, although we have to for the divorce. I apologized for everything I have done, and as much as I don't want a divorce, I will go along with anything he wants to demonstrate I do love him, and even after the divorce, my door will always be open for him. He said he actually believes me, although he's not changing his mind about our divorce. He wishes for me to find happiness. He wanted to leave me the house, but I don't want it due to the memories, so we agreed to sell it off. My lawyer tried to talk me into pursuing all kinds of stuff for my husband and get more. I just told them I don't want that, and I can find another lawyer if he wants to pursue that path. I am taking time off work for myself, and although I'm not better, it helps to feel less sucky. I heard from the grapevine that my husband is indeed in a new relationship, and at this point I just hope this woman is making him happy and helping him heal. As for myself, I just want to focus on my new life and rebuilding what I can. So, we've gotten this story before, somewhat recently, I think, actually, but now we have a new update, as mentioned at the start of it, and, I don't know, like, as always, I'm not a supporter of cheating, but at least, OP's not being terrible after the fact, so I'll give her that. The divorce is thankfully going smoothly because nobody wants a rough divorce. Well, nobody really wants a divorce to begin with, but, this is the next best thing. But I don't really have anything else to say about the story. The ex-husband is now with someone else. Hopefully he's happy with her. And I can see what OP means about feeling used. Even though, yes, she cheated, but again, we're talking about after the fact. So I could see that argument. Do I agree or disagree? I'm not really sure, so I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that particular aspect of the story. But again, cheating's bad, but at least afterwards she's being agreeable, so I'll give her that. But anyway, next story. Story number 5. Will I be the a-hole if I say no to a second baby shower with my husband's family? Hi there, I am 28F and I am currently 25 weeks pregnant. Both my family and my husband's family have talked about a baby shower. His family told me whoever puts the deposit down on the community center will get to host and everything. So my mom went ahead and put the deposit down, and we picked the middle of June because I will be 32-ish weeks pregnant. I've already been really sick and in pain throughout my whole pregnancy, so I didn't want to have to host people later than that. My mother-in-law and my grandmother-in-law got really angry over the date because a whole week before they had a family reunion planned. I knew that and thought it would be enough time. All they had to do was come and eat. Well, they are saying they won't go to the baby shower, and his mom went on a whole rant about how ever since I got pregnant, I haven't considered her feelings or listened to her at all. My husband has a very strained relationship with his mother because of her attitude, her lies, her putting him on antipsychotics when he was 8. He said he was done with them and their drama. This morning, my grandmother-in-law texted me and asked if I could have 2 baby showers, one being in July, around the time I will be 37 weeks. So, will I be the a-hole if I said no? I would like advice on how to handle this. My husband just tells me to do what I want, and he will be beside me no matter what. Edit. His family is only 5 minutes away from where I'm holding the shower. My family lives about 2 hours away. My family doesn't want to stress me out, so they are doing all the traveling. Virtual won't work because his family isn't tech savvy. My husband is very embarrassed of his family right now and just wants to be super petty and cuss them out. He's never had a good relationship with them, which is why I didn't meet them until 4 years into our relationship. His father and his girlfriend are very nice and sweet. They will do whatever to help us. The reason I don't want another one is because I have spinal stenosis and 2 bad discs. I am throwing up on and off. This is my first pregnancy and it was a total shock because I couldn't get pregnant without help. Now here are some relevant comments. User 1 said, "You are under zero obligation to go to a second baby shower. You are having one already and they are declining to attend. That's their choice. They sound like a hassle and a headache to be around. Being pregnant is hard enough without dealing with this crap. Not the a-hole. Screw them." Thank you. I'm very much a pushover, which is why they kept contacting me instead of my husband or the host of the event, my mom. I do not understand why they can't go to the one I'm having. I told them about the date a month before, and they didn't say anything negative to me. My husband just says that they want to be in control. Update. Thank you all for the replies and judgments. It has really helped with my people-pleaser tendencies. My husband's mother is definitely not coming to the shower of her own choice. She called him today and called me immature for having my hubby reply to her instead of me. But husband and I both believe in handling our own families. He feels so embarrassed and has apologized over and over to my family over this. When she said that he told her that, she said she is not going to talk to him ever again. He told her he is done with her and that she is still the same person who put him on medication to control him. When my husband told her about that, all she said is, "Well, sorry." FYI, there are lawsuits about this medication that caused brain damage, anxiety, infertility, and many people have taken their lives after taking it. It caused my husband to throw up blood, and he has horrible heartburn and anxiety. Then later on, my grandmother-in-law started texting me about the shower, so I guess she's coming after all. She said she wanted to invite some people. I told her she can't invite anyone, just give me a count. She also told me his mother will not come unless she gets an apology. My husband told her he will not be apologizing. My wife needs the apology for the insults she said. Then later on, my grandmother-in-law texted my mother yelling at her, saying it was a miscommunication and my husband's relationship with his mother is over. Just essentially blaming my mom. I don't know if my mom texted back, but knowing her, she will. I am so tired of this drama. We at least have his dad's side of the family being great, and his dad said this is why I tried to keep you away from them. But thank you all for the replies, and I never expected so many. I'm sorry I didn't reply much. I got overwhelmed. If anything happens, maybe I will update after the baby shower. Also, thank you on congratulating me for having my baby boy. It's my first baby, and I was told I wouldn't have any without help. My husband was also told he probably wouldn't have kids, so our son is a miracle. So, you're telling me OP's family is 2 hours away and they're coming down for the baby shower, whereas the husband's family, mainly his mother and her cronies, are 5 minutes down the road and can't show up. Okay, so you know that's a horrible person, right? What excuse do you have to not show up to that? I'll give you 5 seconds. No, you don't even need 5 seconds. You don't need an excuse. Here's what you say. "Hey, OP, I'm a terrible person." At least be honest with it. Just every new person you meet, walk up to them and say, "Hi, nice to meet you. I suck." But you know what? Forget about the mom. Nobody likes her and she sucks. But as for OP and her husband, they are having their miracle baby despite all those medical obstacles and issues and such and the like. And the only thing I hope is that they don't name the child Jasupe. If they can do that, then I think the kid will probably come out all right. But anyway, guys, we are at the end of the video. Drink more water. But thank you all so much for watching and have a really good day. And see you in the next video. Bye-bye.